Hey, what's good everyone? Fury here, and today we're talking about Deetja and her super, specifically the Skybound art. So a couple of people have been kind of struggling to do the technical input for this super, and you really need to do the technical input. I'll show you a couple of techniques to help, at least help me anyway. So before we actually get into the techniques, let's talk about why you need to do the technical version. So there is baseline a 200 damage difference between the technical version and the easy input version. This is not that much, and if it was the only issue, I would say it's not that big of a deal. But there's a bigger issue. So if I go really close and I do the easy input, you see that I start to get this really nice long animation, right? But if I'm stood here and I go for it, I don't get any animation. Now that sucks because when you're playing the fireball game and you want to do it like this, you're missing out on all that animation. But if you do the technical input, you get the full thing. And that means that you can play footsies at this sort of range and get whiff punishes and go into the super. You can go through fireballs as we just saw. It's super important to be able to do this if you're going to main this character anyway. So let's look at how you do this move. Quarter circle forward twice, and you follow up with light, light, medium, medium, heavy, heavy, light, medium, heavy, quarter circle back you on a successful hit. Seems like a lot, but really you're just going lights to heavies and then lights to heavies again. You're just inputting twice for the first set and once for the second set. But that's not what I'm going to teach you, because that is just a case of being in training mode and trying to get that muscle memory down like you would any combo. But there is a thing that people don't talk about with this, and it is that the super is all about rhythm. I don't use any visual cues, I just use rhythm. And what I mean here is when you're inputting the lights and the mediums, you're just following the same rhythm the entire time. You're not changing that. Nothing about that is visual. It's all just about timing. So one tip I have is when you input this super first, you can actually input the first light really early on. Not that early, but pretty early on. I don't like doing this because the actual hit comes out way later, and that fucks up the rhythm. So I try and hit it as late as possible when I actually see that the first hit of that sequence is going to come out. That makes it way easier for me to find the rhythm and do it. Way fucking easier. If I try and do it early on, yeah, immediately mess it up, and that wasn't actually me trying to prove my own point. I messed it up immediately. Trying to do it early, nah, fuck that. You want it to hit first, and when you input that first L, the first hit of your combo should be coming out. The other thing I'd say is double tap. If you play on arcade stick, you don't really have an excuse not to double tap this input. It makes everything substantially easier. You are literally doubling your chance of getting these inputs. Why would you not do that? If you're playing on pad, double tapping, depending on your hand position, can be quite difficult, but I recommend doing it. Adjusting your hands when you actually input the super, anything. Doing it by itself with single inputs, it's hard. You can do it, but it's hard. Like, I would always say just double tap it. As an arcade stick player, I just don't have an excuse. Like, I should always be doing that. So I know if you're a long time fighting game player, I'm kind of teaching you to suck eggs here, but really, please just double tap it. It'll make your life easier. So the two techniques. Input the first L when it's actually going to come out. Don't input it early and try and buffer it, because it will fuck up the rhythm of the rest of the combo. Input it as late as you can. That will help you establish your rhythm early on, and you just keep to that rhythm for the whole sequence. That's what you need to do. If anything, look at the visual cue down on the bottom, the virtual controller. use that as a guide for the rhythm, if anything, or just the sound from this. Second thing, double tap. Double tapping is always going to be useful. It's going to be useful to the end of time. Do it, especially here. It'll double your chances of getting the combo. So the last thing I wanted to quickly show you is if you're really struggling to just remember the inputs, or you don't realize where you're going wrong, go into skill training, pick the second to last mission, and you'll see everything displayed on the side of your screen, and this will help so much just remembering that input. You can see exactly where you went wrong, what you did right. You see there I messed up on the H, so I know my timing was off on that bit. It's really, really useful. I recommend highly doing this just to learn the basics of the move. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful for everyone. Hopefully you're going to start doing this super because it's really fucking good. And yeah, have a great day and take care of yourself.